Okay, we are live. Hi, guys. Welcome to the stream. What if I told you that the best way to fix your problems are to look at the stories behind your problems, the way you're looking at things, the way your perspectives are right now on things, how you're perceiving things. And if you addressed those things, meaning the thoughts behind your problems, the meaning you're giving your problems, how you see yourself as you navigate your problems, and allowing those to be what your main focus is on, how that could completely transform your life and solve those problems and find you the answers and solutions you're looking for. That is what we're talking about today. Hi, guys. My name is Chris. I'm an emotional mastery coach here to teach you how to understand yourself and your emotions so that you could figure out any kind of problem that you're dealing with in life, help you find the happiness you deserve, the belief in yourself, the connection with yourself, and the movement towards the goals and dreams that you have. It's all very logical that you could do this. I've taught many people how to do this, and that's what we do here on this channel. So I'm going to open, first, I'm going to post the link to the room if anyone wants to join. It's in the chat. And, oh, hold on. There's a little issue with that. Why is that? Hold on. It looks like I have to log in real quick. 1 second, guys. Sorry for the delay. What is my password? Okay. I love doing this as part of the show. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put this now in the chat for anyone who wants to jump on with me. Feel free. You can also just text in the comment section and keep up with me that way. And if you join, you could do it by video or audio, either way. I'm going to just start off with a little premise of what we're talking about today and then open the room up if anyone's available and wants to chat. But let's start here. When I'm coaching somebody, I always ask, and they tell me like what it is that they're feeling, some negative emotion. I'm feeling insecure. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling angry. My question is, why are you feeling that way? And often the answer is a very worldly reason, meaning a very like real world reason. Like, oh, well, the person I'm interested in didn't text me back, or I didn't get the job that I interviewed for, or my partner was distant today. And the feelings that you have about these problems, these real world problems, are very valid. They're justified. It makes sense that you'd feel that way, and it's okay to feel that way. But there's another element to this that can help us figure out problems like these and help us see things differently to get us clarity and get us insight and get us solutions. And that is to take the focus off of the problem itself and onto the thoughts behind the problem. Because a lot of the times we don't have control over what other people do or what businesses hire and who they hire and who they don't. And so when we assign those external problems to our feelings, we disempower ourselves because we don't have any control over that. However, when we put the focus on the meaning that we're giving those things, the way we're looking at things, the thoughts and stories and beliefs behind those things, those empower us because that we can do something about. So I'm going to give you some examples here. So for example, if the worldly problem is the person I'm interested in didn't text me back, the story problem might be I'm not important and I always get rejected. This makes sense. This happens all the time. I'm interested in someone and then they just don't seem interested in me and they don't get back to me. That's such a great example because the the idea that someone didn't get back to you is its own thing, which can be for many, 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 many reasons. But when you start assigning them to rejection and I'm not good enough and this is why it's happening and what this might mean, that's the real cause of the emotional feeling of shittiness that you might experience in those moments. And the good news about that is when you kind of separate the real world problems from the thought, story, belief problems, you can then start to shift the thought, story, belief problems in easy ways that we could talk about. Um, and then find the clarity and the ease and the comfort that you're looking for in a way that makes problems, a lot of them just seem to dissolve right on the spot. And otherwise, it can help you start thinking along certain wavelengths in good headspaces that can help you then make the right choices to say the right things or to do the right things, or to think in the ways that will help you find the answers you're looking for. So a few more examples, and then we'll jump into the solution of what to do here. A real world problem might be I didn't get the job that I interviewed for, but the story problem is I'm not good enough for that job. I don't deserve a good job. Of course they didn't hire me. Those are two different things. The real world problem, my partner was distant today, but the story problem there is they're losing interest in me and I'm hard to love. That might be the story problem. I mean, all of these are going to be obviously individual and specifically yours, specifically something that you're telling yourself. We all have different insecurities and different fears. And so the stories we tell ourselves are different based on our history and our experiences and previous thoughts that we've had. But these are the kinds of things that happen. The real world problem might be, or your interpretation of a problem might be that I gained some weight. But the story problem is that now I'm ugly because of that, or I should be ashamed of my body because of that. The real world problem might be I forgot to respond to a message. But the thought problem or the story problem is I'm irresponsible and people are probably mad at me. The real world problem might be I didn't get anything done on my to-do list today. But the story problem behind that is I'm lazy and I'm never going to get my life together. One more. The real world problem, it might be I see someone else doing better than me. But the story problem behind that is I'm behind and I'll never catch up and I'm failing at life. These interpretations that we have, these stories that we tell ourselves about the problems are the real key to solving them. And I've talked on this channel before about different ways to do this. I'll give you my most updated way to do it. But essentially, what you want to do is find new stories to tell yourself about any and all situations. And once you start telling yourself different things, having different thoughts, having different perspectives, you will then be operating in a different way. And you'll be, most importantly, feeling in a different way. Because remember, our emotions come from our thoughts. We feel how we feel, not because of the thing itself, but because of our thoughts about the thing itself. And if you can draw that distinction for yourself, you've unlocked a secret cheat code to life, because that you can do something with. We can change the stories we're telling. We can change the thought problems, the story problems, the belief problems. And the best way to do that is to get into good headspaces. That's the first step. So however you like to do that, maybe that's meditating, maybe that's going on walks, maybe that's being in nature, maybe that is spending more time with your pet or your kids, or playing games, or having fun, or listening to great music, or I like doing bike rides. Like, there's so many different ways to get into good headspaces. Do that, and then openly invite different kinds of ask yourself simply, what are other ways that I can look at this situation that meet two criteria? Number one, it feels good to me. And number two, it makes total sense to me. And you want those two criteria to be met because the first one, you want your new way of thinking about this to feel good. Because if it doesn't feel good, what's the point? Why are we switching out one shitty way of looking at things for another shitty way of looking at things? You want to find a different perspective or an alternative way of looking at something that truly feels good to your heart. Secondly, you want it to make sense to you. And I mean like deep sense. I mean like it resonates, like it makes logical sense to me as to why I would think this way, this new way. And that is important because ultimately the goal is to whenever you're feeling the negative emotion, you are replacing that with a different kind of thought, a better feeling thought. And if it makes sense to you, you'll continue to repeat that to yourself because it makes sense to you to believe that. But if it doesn't really make sense to you, or if you don't believe that, then you're really not going to spend the time repeating it to yourself. And that's what really makes the shift happen. Um, so that's what you're looking for. So in the case of, I mean, we could pull any of these examples, but you know, um, uh, I didn't get the job. If you interviewed for a job and you didn't get it, and you were telling yourself like, "Oh man, I feel insecure about that. Um, I just feel like I'm not good enough because of that." That story, which is currently, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve good things. I don't deserve a good job. I'm not qualified. I'm not experienced. All these things that you might be telling yourself. People don't like me. That's why they're not hiring me. You want to then open yourself to finding different ways to look at that situation. Maybe and this could be anything that makes sense to you. So I'm going to just spitball for a minute on different ways you can look at this, at a situation like this. And I want you to, like, in your own life, be spitballing yourself about, take 2 minutes, take 3 minutes to just think of different things that you could say for this that kind of make sense to you. So, for example, if I didn't get a job, and by the way, like I interviewed at Conan a couple years before I got my job there, my regular job there, my official job there, and I didn't get that first interview. Someone else who picked over me. So I had a moment like this where I experienced not getting a job that I really wanted and having negative thoughts about this. I didn't know at the time how to do the process that I'm sharing with you, but point is, I could have, and it would have helped me. Um, which is to say things like, this might not be the only opportunity that I get. There are plenty of opportunities out there. There are plenty of good jobs out there that I would love to have or I would love to apply for. This might not have been a good fit for a completely different reason that had nothing to do with me. Maybe they were looking for something else or some other different kind of person or some other different kind of, they were specifically looking for something that wouldn't have worked for me anyway. Or another thing you could tell yourself is, I ultimately want whoever hires me to actually want and like me and want to hire me. And if they don't, then that's not a win for me. Like, I want a win-win in situations like interviews. I know that I'm an asset to whatever company I join, and I know that they appreciate having me and I appreciate being there. And if that is not the case, then I don't want to work that job anyway. And so just telling yourself things like this. Another thing you could do is, if you're having trouble finding the exact fit for your exact situation, you can turn to essentially thoughts that are always true, that feel good and are always true. So some examples of that could be, um, as long as I stay in good headspaces more frequently, which I'm trying to do on purpose because I'm watching, Chris's channel, and I'm learning that that's important and helpful to me, and a very big advantage to my life. The more I do that, the more good ideas that I'm going to get on what to do for future jobs, and the better energy I'm going to carry when I'm in an interview with someone, or when I'm talking to someone, or the more easily I'm going to spot opportunities that come up along my daily life. And so, like, those are all things that are always going to be true, that you can remind yourself of, that good headspaces are always going to help me. And so the more I float in them, the more I'm going to find new opportunities and make better impressions on people. That's something you can always turn to. So whatever it is that you and by the way, if you're trying to figure this out and you're trying to find this like what's another way I could look at this situation that feels better and you can't find it for whatever reason, also know that that's okay. At that point, just stay open and go about your day with an open, flexible, optimistic mind that you will find your answer at some point. And then allow the universe to show you what that answer is. It might come from a friend or a family member that you're talking to that gives you the perfect new perspective of how you can look at that situation. It might come from the world around you as you're going to stores and restaurants when that you overhear something or oversee something that is like, oh my god, that's the answer, that's what I was looking for. That's such a good idea, that's such a good way of looking at that. Or it might be that you tune to channels like this that give this kind of information and this insight, and that talk about that. Hi, Yoni. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here as always. Today we're talking about how to take a problem that we're having and separate the real world issue that's happening and the thoughts and stories that we are telling ourselves about that real world issue. And if we focus there, that's something that we can change and then help us shift and help us solve the original thing that's bothering us. This has worked countless times with people. I've seen really great results from the people that I coach and work with. So feel free to take this. And like I said, if you can't think of something in the moment, that's okay. Don't get frustrated with yourself. It's all right if that happens. Just know that as you go about your daily life, in the next couple days or the next week, just stay open and you will come across something in your environment. Whether that's, again, like out in the world somewhere, someone telling you something, looking at, when your intuition guides you to certain books to read or certain videos to watch or certain live streams to join or certain podcasts to listen to. Our intuition can lead us exactly to the people and the voices and the situations that can give us the insight that we're looking for, that we can adopt that new way of thinking. So and I'm a good resource for that. So if something if you want to work something out, like that's what I do. So feel free to chime in. But that's the process. It's asking yourself, okay, here's my problem. But instead of focusing on the external stuff, because we can't control a lot of the external stuff, you ultimately can't control what other people do because you can't control how they think. You can't control situations or force things to happen the way you want them to. And so when we are upset because of external things, which makes total sense that we would be, but when we feel like we're stuck in that way on the external stuff, we completely disempower ourselves, because it's true, we can't do something about that, and therefore we then feel stuck. And what are we just going to stay in this negative space indefinitely? The trick to shifting your life and shifting your world in the ways that you want to is to name that external stuff, but then notice the thought piece of the puzzle, how you're thinking about the external stuff, because that's what you have control over. That's what you can change. And when you do, not only can you find solutions and answers to the problems that you're looking for, of what you can say or what you can do to make those shifts that you're looking for, but sometimes even just changing the way you're looking at things, changing your perspective, changing your thoughts on something, sometimes that immediately solves the problem because it just doesn't look like a problem anymore. I've had plenty of those things too, where something is really bothering me and then I look at it differently and I'm like, oh, I guess that isn't so bad after all. And I'm actually kind of glad that's there, or I'm glad that person's doing that because, it's best for them. And ultimately I want them to follow their heart, even if it means, it's doing something that I don't like. Sometimes it's that easy and simple. And then suddenly the problem is just solved instantly. All right. Anyway, that's the practice. I recommend doing that this week, and I want to bring in Alina, who's here. Hey, Alina, welcome to the stream.
Hey, Chris. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing. I don't have a question or anything. I was just listening and vibing, but I'm happy to
Great.
take the conversation whichever way it
Let's
wants
do
to
it.
flow.
Hell yeah, let's do it. We have Yoni here also joining us in the chat. And
Wonderful.
yeah. So I don't know. Let's talk about like you work with me. You're doing this practice. You're incorporating what I was just talking about into your own life. What are you finding in that practice?
Well, okay, so actually, we talked about a video by a doctor named Lissa, I think
Yeah.
Rankin, right?
Yeah.
So I just listened to that and I love it. I mean, I think you probably knew that
Mm,
I
mhm,
would, which is likely
mhm,
why you recommended it, right?
mm, mhm.
Um, I definitely agree with what she's saying. I think that, our bodies keep the score. I think I've said this before. I think that if there's enough resistance in what we're doing from like a daily perspective, then the body will let us know. And
Yeah.
now I'm in the place where I'm like, okay, and now she keeps saying, be brave, be brave. So I think I need to be brave now.
Mm. And that could mean something different for different people. I want to give anyone who doesn't know who this is. This is just someone I found, man, a couple of years ago when I was struggling with my own health journey, and I always seemed to have something wrong with my body. Like something was always off, and whether like it was just one thing after another, and then when something fixed, like healed, something else would bother me, and I just had this story that I was telling myself of like, man, if like there's always something wrong with my body. If it's not this, it's this. If it's not that, it's this. And I was realizing that that story that I was telling was keeping my mind solely focused in such a negative way about my health and my body. And it was really like just for months going on this way. And then I found this woman who, yeah, her name is Dr. Lissa Rankin. I really like her Google talk that she has. She wrote a book called Mind Over Medicine, and essentially, she's this doctor who's, Western medicine doctor who went to traditional school to study. And she essentially came up with she had this like in her research, she discovered that there were people that were healing their bodies even from extreme cases of different uh, illnesses that who were doing it in using their mind, or at least their approach to life changed and therefore it helped their health. And I am not a medical doctor, I am not a medical expert in any way. However, it does make the premise that really drew me about to what she's sharing is the idea that when we are in good moods, good emotions, good headspaces, our brain releases certain hormones like oxytocin and dopamine and serotonin that are helpful to us. They're good for us. And they put our body in a state of, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically just sciencey term for healing mode. Like it allows our body to access a healing mode because, and on the flip side, when we are thinking thoughts that bring us stress and anxiety and sadness and depression and fear and insecurity, our brain releases different chemicals like uh, adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormone. And those hormones, when they flush our body and our system, can cause inflammation in our body and our body to not operate properly or the way it's supposed to, and keeping us in a state of, basically, when we stay in a state of fight or flight for long stretches of time, uh, our body starts to have negative effects from it because we're meant to like have that rush of cortisol or that rush of adrenaline when things like happen in our environment that scare us, or that like we need this was like that protective mechanism that from our caveman days of like when a tiger comes out, we get that stress to like move our body and like raise our blood sugar, raise our blood pressure, and like get us out of there. But when we stay in so in some ways it can be helpful to us in certain situations, but in other situations, when we're staying in a fight or flight mode, the stress, tight, anxious, scared mode for long stretches of time, hours, days, like consistently in that mode, it really has negative effects on our body. And that really resonates with me. That's a very simple way to understand to me, like why our moods matter, why our headspaces matter, why our emotions matter, why paying attention to this matters, and why it matters to go from feeling negative to finding ways to feel more positive and to speak in ourselves in more positive ways so that our body chemistry can even change based on how our brain is functioning, right? So with that said, I so you watched this video, you kind of resonated with it too?
I did, yeah. I mean, I do, and I've shared it with my mom as well. And I just thought it was really fascinating that this doctor spoke of, people in a generally affluent community who have access to all sorts of care, and all sorts of modalities, right? That those
Mhm,
people weren't getting better despite those facts, because ultimately it was different factors that were really affecting their health, like abusive relationships or
mhm,
work environments, right? Like I
mhm,
actually I think that I really appreciated kind of the scientific or medical analysis behind why hating one's job could cause stress. Like, I mean, I
mhm,
guess generally speaking, that's an easy inference to make. And at the same time, she really touched on how like the amygdala gets triggered.
mm,
And I appreciated that explanation because I was like, I just didn't realize that hating a job could make you feel physically unsafe and trigger, fight or flight. I mean, I did, but
mhm.
I didn't, right? Like, I think I
Right.
just really needed that explanation of it is like, okay, this is what's happening in the body when someone really dislikes their work environment. And
Yeah.
it's just yeah, I just went on, like, a whole thinking binge after this. I don't know if it's a
Good.
good or yeah, maybe it's a good thing. But I've really been thinking about what she said a lot, and I'll probably re-listen to the talk as well,
Mhm,
because I think it's interesting because the area of people that she was kind of studying, right, was Marin County patients, and, that's where I'm located right now. So it's
mm,
just crazy to think about how there's probably lots of people around me right now that have, access to a ton of resources and yet probably don't feel like those resources are helping them,
mhm.
because that's not the problem.
Right, right, right. Which goes back to the original thing that I started this live stream with today, which is a beautiful segue, which is the idea of the problems aren't what necessarily what we think the problems are. The problem is how we're looking at things. Like you said, hating a job. Well, where does that come from? It comes from the way we're looking at the job. And we can look at and the job is the job, and it might be not for you and it might be for you, I don't know, but like the point is how are you looking at that job that's causing you to feel the hate that you're feeling, or this is just an example, but like, and it's that is the real key to solving the problem and making you feel better, which then also helps your health because when we feel better our bodies operate the way that they're supposed to. And
Mhm,
it's like I what I really loved about what her talk, her Google talk, that's the thing I keep referencing. I haven't seen a lot of other interviews from her, but this Google talk that she has, which is available on YouTube,
mhm,
really opened my eyes to the idea of like, oh yeah, when we our bodies are meant to heal. Like they want to heal. It like it that's what it does. But we kind of get in our own way with having certain thoughts and perspectives on things that cause our brain to freak out and our body to tense up, and then our body like operates in a completely different way than it's supposed to. But if we just relaxed, and the takeaway was if you relax more, if you enjoy life more, if you take it easy more, if you go easier on yourself, if you treat yourself to things, if you play more, if you uh, get out of any abusive relationship you have, make when the moment is right and the opportunity is there. If you quit the job that you have when it makes sense to do that. If you have a dream to go do something, that you go and follow that. If you want to move somewhere, then go and let yourself move towards that. It's like doing these things like when people stopping themselves from doing what they want to do, it really can allow your mind to operate more better and also then like your body as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, originally, I listened to another video of hers because what I did at first was I just Googled her name and then I asked her, I was like, wait a second, is this the video you were referring to or was it
Mm,
something else? But I think she really, has a lot of good talks and it's just interesting how her perspective on all of this seems to have shifted throughout her life too because she
mhm,
was just studying medicine as one does in medical school and she didn't even have these sorts of perceptions until later in life when she got affected by certain conditions and so it started to make her wonder like
mhm.
Western medicine the best approach? And it sounds like she decided that it maybe wasn't in all situations.
I mean, it seems like there's a lot of like details that people overlook and we're not, and it's almost like we're missing the basics sometimes of like how is our body work and how does it work at its best and what can we do to help our body work the way it's meant to work, and just and realizing that our thoughts really make a difference. Our thoughts make all the difference because our
Mm,
thoughts cause us to feel different ways. And when we feel different ways, it causes the body to react differently in either a positive way or a negative way. And the idea of just like paying attention to that on just like this basic level, her explanation of health really aligns with my like perspective on how to approach life in a very like logical way, but she explains it with like science and like medical facts, whereas I'm looking at it in terms of just sort of like, well, this makes common sense that this would be helpful or that would be helpful, thinking positively would be helpful, doing things that you love would be helpful, relaxing would be helpful. All of that's logically true for our mind to operate at where my focus is on how do we get our headspaces to be good so that our mind can operate in the way that we want it to. And hers is like, well, when you do that, then your body also operates in a way that you want it to, which is fascinating.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about the bravery thing real quick, and then I want to invite
Mhm.
Sakina into the chat. Tell me what the bravery aspect that you mentioned, and let's try to talk that out.
I mean, I think it's time to do it, but have I done it? Not
What is it? What is it?
well, I think for me it's not being at this environment anymore
Mm.
because I've just I
You're
I
talking
mean,
about the work environment that you're in.
yeah, because like historically speaking, when I take a look at my life, when I started to feel certain, negative aspects of health, it all started when I joined corporate America. There were other factors
Mm,
at play, certainly. I don't want to say it was all that. But I mean, the timeline, if you just look at it historically, I started to struggle in corporate America because I think for the most part, my values don't align with their values. My
mm,
values are people. People are
mm,
first and their values are the bottom line is first. And so I feel like there's this fundamental, disconnect there
mm,
because
mhm,
I will always put people first, and I
mm,
think that I've been at some I guess kind of smaller organizations um, that were corporate, but then also at a very large organization that's corporate, and ultimately I don't believe in the messaging, right? Because the messaging shared on certain calls will be like, oh, we support diverse communities, we support neurodiversity, we support people with disabilities, we support this, we support that. But when you really take a look behind the scenes, which, that's where the people are, they're behind the scenes, you
mm,
see that that's not the experience of most folks. And so that to me just being aware of that and seeing how they speak one way but then act in a completely different way, it's very difficult to be witness to that.
mm,
I think, and so yeah, I would say like my my next goal is really to create a way out of this, because this is not where I want to be, really.
Great. Great. It's good to know that. It's good to know that. And just remember, like, and of course, do what's right for you, because some people have the means and the ability to quit right away and then move it like instantly into something else, or to go take time off to not work in any way. Like, people have different financial situations, but do what's ultimately best for you. But I often tell people, if they feel financially kind of tied to a place and they feel
Yeah.
like they can't quite make that move or that jump just yet, just keep an open mind. Instead of spending the time that you've been spending hating the job, find other ways to focus your energy and attention, whether it's on the job in a different way or completely on things outside of work that bring you happiness, that bring you joy, that bring you levity, that bring you lightheartedness, that bring you play, that bring you relaxation, and then allow your mind floating in those good headspaces to find other jobs and opportunities that are out there, that exist right now, but you just are not coming across them for whatever reason. You have not stumbled onto them. You have not walked by the building that says now hiring for that. You have not like come across the post where they're looking for work. You have not like you haven't quite found the thing, but those things are exist all over the place. Those opportunities exist all over the place. Remote jobs exist all over the place. And it's just a matter of you getting into better headspaces more frequently so that you can uh, flow with the universe in finding whatever that new thing is.
Well, the thing is, I here's the
Mm,
thing. I just I would like to just be really supported,
mhm,
by the universe, life, God, whatever. Like, my thing is I'm having a difficult time understanding how I could do both, how I could survive an environment that I honestly hate
mhm,
and also do what I love, because those are just two completely opposite,
mm.
you know,
What do you love?
freedom. Honestly, like right now, what I would love is just to quit today and
Mm,
have my rent paid for and
mm,
have my groceries paid for and have my bills paid for the next 6 months while I renew myself after having been in this kind of environment.
mm.
And I'm trying to figure out, how do I do that? Where do I get the money to just like be like to I just want to exist. Like, you know? Just want
Yeah, I do. I do. Yep. But when you frame it like that, you put yourself in almost like an impossible situation, because you don't believe that you can do that, or you don't think that you don't see an avenue to do that. And so if your choices are, I'll feel good if I have an avenue where I can just get a bunch of money dumped on me and then be able to not work, or like find something instantly that fits my, dream perception of what I want my job to be, something that's aligned with my heart, and I need that right now in order to see that, then 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 you're not, and that because you don't have that right now in front of you today,
Mhm.
then you feel trapped in this way that, again, you don't need to feel that way, but you do because you're looking at it this way, which makes total sense. Like, anyone would feel the way you're feeling if you look at your situation in the way that you're looking at it. The question is, based on, again, this topic that is the topic of the day here, which is, can you separate the worldly problem that you're experiencing, which is a job you don't like, from this thought, story, belief problem that you're having about that situation?
I'm listening to you. And okay, on some days it's like it sticks a lot better. Like I think today I'm having a day where it's not sticking as much. Like not in this conversation, but like before this conversation,
Hmm.
I was realizing, I was like, okay, it's not clicking today. Something's not clicking. Like a
Hmm.
couple days ago it was clicking and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm fine. Everything's good. I'm doing what I want to be doing. I'm focusing on what I want to be focusing on, and it was all good. And then like since yesterday I've been back to like, okay, I feel kind of trapped. And It's I guess the thing is, I feel like it takes all day to be me. Maybe that's arrogant, but, like,
It feels all day to be what? Or
I
it
feel
feels
like it takes all day to be me, right? Like from when I want to get up. Like if I'm being me, I'm going to get up no earlier than 10 a.m. I'm going to take 2 hours to just like I don't know what the word is, but just like leisurely awaken, and I'm going to roll from
Yeah,
one
yeah.
part of the house to another, and I'm going to look at things that I own, and look at, my makeup, and maybe go to the bathroom and do some lotion and some skincare stuff, and it's all going to be very very slow, like such
Mm,
slow movements, and there's not going to
mm,
be any deadlines, and there's not going to be any any things that I have to attend or be at because
mm,
someone said that I need to be there at a certain time to get paid, right? Like that's
mhm,
what I mean is it takes all day to be me. And then I would go outside and I would take a very slow walk, and I wouldn't think, well, how far can I walk to be back by this certain time, because at this certain time I have to be at this certain meeting. No, I would just wander. I would just wander
mm,
all across the globe,
mm,
and like that's what I keep running into is like, well, that's like it feels like trying to do those things like before 9 a.m. or like after 5 p.m. I'm like, no, I
mm.
want all
I see.
day, you know?
Okay, so the way to let's do the practice that I was talking about earlier and that you know very well from our coaching, which is finding new ways to look at this situation, which might mean finding new ways to find what you want, which is freedom. How can you see this situation, even with the job that you have now, as you are still free, even with this job? What are the ways that you're free right now?
And I keep doing that. I keep doing that. I'm like, okay, I'm at home. At least like
Yep.
one is like asserting themselves into my experience, like physically,
You
like
don't
there's
have to drive to an office.
yeah, yeah, there's
You
no like I don't have to talk to these people that I might not enjoy talking to, like physically in person. I don't have to like
Yep. You're not
uh,
called into meetings in
yeah,
person that you have to go into. You don't have to walk into a conference room with a bunch of people. You don't have to be tied to an office all day and you can't leave because, well, maybe you can get lunch, but even then, it's like that might be tight. You don't have to worry about any of that. You can
yeah,
take breaks whenever you want. If you can, you step away from the computer whenever you want,
yeah. I actually
for the
did
most
that
part.
yesterday. I totally okay. I had to. I'm not going to explain why, but I clicked out of a meeting. It was on Teams, and I just X'd out of it. I was like, whatever,
Okay.
I can't be in this right now. And then I came back in like 3 minutes, and I was like, oh, oops, my Teams crashed. But like, I just couldn't be there at that moment. And I,
But this sounds like freedom. Like this truly does sound like elements of freedom. It's not the level that you want, but it is elements of what you want in even in a place that you don't ultimately want to be. And that is in essence, if you can get good at tapping into the elements of freedom that you're looking for and see how your life right now does contain elements of freedom. You don't have to drive into an office every day. You can wake up 5 minutes before your job starts. You can take off whenever you want, meaning you could take breaks whenever you want. If you had to leave early for from a meeting, or couldn't take it and sort of like just bailed, like that's somehow possible for you. Like you're finding these elements of freedom, plus the freedom of knowing that at the end of the day you do have the choice. Like if you needed to for whatever reason, you could quit. Like you have the right to quit if you wanted to, right?
I mean,
And like
technically, I could.
you
It's
technically could, right? So
it's
I
just that
would
I feel like if I did
yeah, I
in
know,
this
but don't go there because that feels shitty, right? So like
yeah,
stick to
it
what
does.
feels good for now. And I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to talk you into like keeping the job. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I just want you to get the sense of the element of freedom, and I want you to allow yourself to see the freedom that you do have, the levels of freedom that you do have. Even if even if let's say there's no freedom right here And then this is ultimate freedom, the way you just described how you want your life to be. And you're, let's say, here, right? Like, I want you to know that you're more free than you think, or you're more free than you're giving yourself the story that you're telling yourself, that you don't have this freedom is not true, in the sense that you have the freedom to wake up later than most people. You have the freedom to take breaks when you want. You have the freedom to exit meetings if you needed to, or if you wanted
True.
to. You have the freedom to quit
True.
if things really got to a point that you're not forced to do that. And so giving yourself those freedoms, even, is allowing
Where'd you
your,
go?
did you guys lose me? Am I back?
I don't know. Just I can hear you. I can hear you
But
now.
can you
Yeah,
see
you're
me?
back.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
I can
okay.
see you.
Yeah, I saw connection loss, but it was only for a second. Okay, so yeah, I just want you to tap into this element of freedom because that's something you can do right now as a thought and as a feeling, before the physical reality shows you the freedom that you're looking for. But the way to get the ideas that are going to lead you to the freedom you're looking for, you need to be thinking on a certain wavelength. You want to be thinking on this wavelength up here to get the freedom you're looking for. But right now, you're fighting down here with, I don't feel free, I'm not free, look at all the reasons I'm not free. And you're not going to think of the line there. Think of it like you're just following a thought chain to the freedom that you're looking for. But right now, you're not on that thought chain. And when the more you hate your job and you feel like you're trapped, the longer you're going to be off the chain that is going to help you ultimately get where you want to go. And so the way to do
Okay.
that is to do what I'm saying, even if it feels weird, or even if it feels, how is this even helpful to me? I'm still in the same job. I get that. But changing the way you,
So I'm not trapped.
what's that?
I'm not trapped. I'm
You're
not
not trapped.
trapped. I
Right.
can
And
move
so what's the
forward.
opposite of not trapped? You're free.
Free.
So you're free now. And think about it like this.
Oh,
Like, if you can adopt this way of thinking, this can open up so many cool doors for you, okay? Think about it like this. Think of it as like, even though this job isn't the job that you want, and it doesn't meet the criteria you're looking for in a job, I get it. Totally. Can you see it as, I'm still making the choice to work there for now, because I know it pays the bills, and I know it's giving me the time and the space to see what else is out there.
I'm trying. I'm
Okay.
trying. It's just sometimes, honestly, like it it barely pays the bills. That's I
I
think
know,
that's
but
where when I say that to myself, I almost sometimes feel like I'm lying to myself because I'm like, well, it pays like bare necessities,
if you
essentially.
weren't working it,
And
what kind of situation would you be in?
I'd probably move back in with my
So
mom.
it's helping you in that way. And so if you can just see, I know it's hard to like give it credit of like, when you feel like it's barely helping you, or it's barely paying off the bills or whatever, I can see how you wouldn't want to give that a lot of credit. But appreciating what it does give you is the key. Seeing the freedom that it does give you is the key. Seeing yourself as, I have the choice, and I'm consciously making the choice to continue this job even though I don't like it, because it gives me this and this and this, because it gives me the freedom to work remotely, because it gives me the freedom to step away from to take breaks when I want, because it gives me the freedom to pay my bills and get to live in my own place. And I accept and appreciate those freedoms even if I don't like the job. I appreciate that I have the choice in all of this. And I appreciate that I'm making this choice on purpose to continue working here versus quitting until I see something else. And all that that's doing is it's helping you get from a negative headspace down here to a more positive headspace up here. And once you're in this positive headspace up here, that's where the magic happens. I have a friend, I told you about this the other day, but like, he also does not like his job, but he put his priority on getting into good headspaces, on raising his mental emotion, on connecting his heart and his head, and getting up here and floating up here the majority of the time.
Chris, I don't know if you
Yes.
can hear me. Can you hear me? I can't hear.
Yeah.
I can see you talking, and
But
I
you can't
can't
hear
hear
me?
you.
Oh
I can
no.
see that you're talking right now, so I think you can hear me. You can hear
Yes.
me? I know
Oh,
you're
no.
giving great vibes right now, and I want to hear them. What's going on?
I don't know what to do. Let me hold on. Let me bring Sakina in.
Hold on. Maybe I should leave and re-enter. Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Sa-
You
Sa-
guys
I
you
just
guys
want
just do
I
your
just want to
thing.
know,
I'm gonna leave
Sakina.
and re-enter.
Okay. Sakina, can you hear me? Sakina, can you hear me or no?
Yes, yes, I
You
can
can.
hear you.
Thumbs up?
Can you? Yeah, you can hear me?
Okay, so it was Alina. Yes, I can. Okay, so it was Alina's.
Okay.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, I think we're on the same page. Great. Sakina, welcome to the
Okay.
live stream. While Alina is out for technical reasons for a minute, tell me what's on your mind this week.
Okay. So finally the microphone works and the speakers I can hear you because it wasn't set up on the on uh this restream that you have, you know?
Okay.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
set
no,
up.
no.
That's
But it
why
sounds like we're
I
good
was
now. So
I was
let's
like,
get to the. I
okay.
don't like
So
talking
so,
about
so
technical stuff
sorry.
because I don't know anything about technical stuff. I want to get to life stuff. What's on your mind
Okay.
this week?
So what's on my mind? I'll tell you these two good things.
Okay.
So I was on this app because I want to learn electric guitar, right?
Electric
As a
guitar.
hobby.
Cool.
Yeah. And I have this app, it's called Justin Guitar.
Okay.
And not the app. I had the app and then I decided to delete it because it only has a 7-day trial, free trial.
Okay.
So then I deleted it and I went on the website and it has all these comprehensive lessons on it. And I figured I should just go through those
Mm.
lessons and then, on my spare time, go through those lessons and then learn about electric guitar, how to use it and so forth, play songs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I really, really like it, then I can buy my own guitar instead of going to a music place that's near my house because there's a music school near my house, right? It's in my area. I can just go under my power chair and it just saves up so much money and so much time. You can learn at your own pace,
Cool.
and I'm happy about that. And I wanted to learn that before, but I lost interest, and then I came back. That was back when I was in adult school,
Okay.
and when I didn't know what I wanted to do. This before voice acting. And the other thing, I found this other DJ app. Found the first DJ app I used that
Because
they
last
don't
week you talked
teach you.
about
They teach
wanting to be a DJ and wanting to practice that.
Yeah, and I want to do that as a hobby and then hopefully make it as a
Mm-hmm.
career, right? Part time. So I saw this DJ app. It's not very good because they want you to get the pro version. It's called DJ
Mm.
Pro AI. But when you get because they teach you in the pro version, they don't teach you in the other version. So I deleted that and I found this other app. I haven't downloaded it yet. I saw it on the App Store. I'm gonna get it. So that's for free.
Cool.
And the Justin guitar is free. You can go on the website and you
Great.
can see all the stuff for
Great.
free.
I just love that
You
you're
don't and
following your heart to do these things that you like to do. So that's really cool. So you're seeing like
thank you.
you would say that you're going down the journey of learning music and playing music and practicing.
Yeah, well, not going down the journey. Practicing, I'm starting on that. I'm just doing other things. Like there's this course that I have that I took. It's called Exploring Careers, and they give you all this work to do. It just really narrows down, and this will be good for Alina. So
Oh.
it's called Exploring Careers. It's from a program called Women's York Region, Women's Center of York Region,
Mm.
right? But she's probably in the States. But it's a free program. You don't have to pay. It's online. It's on Zoom,
Mm.
and this program is 5 days a week
Mm.
and it narrows you down on the type of person you are and the type of things that you would want to do. They give you like a list of the things that you want to do. You don't have to worry about if you know it or if you don't have the skills for it, you know what I mean, or you don't have the
Mm.
education, like the training or the money, whatever. Just know by your feelings,
Cool. That's
and then you
awesome.
just check mark it. Yeah, and it tells you, like, the type of person you are, like, the character. Are you confident? Are you ambitious? Like, there's so many things, and then you copy down, your best choices on this personal profile that's on the back of the worksheet,
Mm.
the Exploring Careers
And it
booklet.
kind of helps
So
you
now
figure
I
out what
finished.
you want to do with your life.
Yeah, yeah, it does figure out what you wanna do, not kind
Wow,
of.
okay,
It
cool.
does, because it narrows everything down. She should take that course because I know she's saying that she doesn't like her
Y But she
job,
doesn't know
but she can
where
take
she
that.
wants to go, so that would be really helpful for her, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good for her, and because I was stuck too. Because I wanted to get a a job that was, like, on the side while I'm doing the voiceover
Mhm,
thing. So my teacher helped me there, and I found out things that, like a job specific jobs that I wanna do. So I can contact when I'm done everything, I'm gonna contact the, employment agency, it's called, RNC, and there's this other employment agency that they're with, it's called Employabilities, it's for people with
mm,
disabilities, and they help you find work, and their success rate is like 95%,
wow.
90%.
That's really cool. This
So and
sounds like you are coming into the right resources to help you with your journey. And I also think that, like I said earlier, like, so it sounds like you're on your journey, and you said, "Well, no, I'm still like learning or whatever." Don't you see those early stages of like learning something and figuring things out and like taking courses as
yeah,
that's all part of the journey? That's the early stages of a journey.
okay, okay, I
Yeah.
see. But, thank you. But, I, yeah, so I like, there's this other program, it's like this other package, sorry, it comes with, like, 3
Hmm.
packages. This other package called Your Work Dream Life,
Mm,
and you answer the questions there, and then you put it into the personal profile from the other booklet that they give you, and then they give you another
mm,
booklet on the type of person you are, ambitious, whatever. I haven't finished that one yet, I haven't started that one. I'm on the second one. It give you a lot of homework, it's a
mm,
lot. That course is for 5 weeks, and then this other course I think is for 5 weeks as well. This is a math course I'm
mm,
taking, like, it teach you about credit cards, debit cards, like, budgeting your
mm.
money, and this is for people who don't have disabilities. They could be a person with disability, you can be in the course, but you don't have to have a disability to be in it, so I think I don't think she has a disability. I don't know, but she would be perfect for it
Okay,
anyways,
cool.
for that
Well, hopefully
exploring
she
careers
sees that
course.
she's not here now, so I think she's having some technical difficulties. But when I see her next time, I don't know if she'll show back up, but if she does, we'll tell her. And if not, then she can rewatch this live stream. Luckily, it's recorded so that she can go back and watch it later and get that insights from you. If I'm gonna wrap up soon,
Okay.
Sakina, but do you have any like questions along your journey? I know that we were chatting the last few weeks about some of the things that you want to do. It sounds like you're making some cool movement. Anything that you want to talk about before we wrap up?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about, what is the job that Alina is saying? Because I wanna see if I can get into that type of job.
Oh, I think she works in healthcare of some kind, but I don't know the specifics of it.
Oh.
So, but it is a remote job. You want a remote job?
Yeah, because 'cause I'm looking for well, I spoke to my teacher too. She said I told her I want to look for remote and have money, have a get make more money in it and work on my own hours. So I'm
Cool.
just thinking about that
Yeah,
healthcare type of job
sure. And
because that's kind of like what Alina was doing, so maybe
hey,
just
if
to
Alina
see,
leaves, they'll have a
you
position
know?
open. Sakina, what do you feel like you are in good headspaces lately? I'm just curious. Like, how would you, if you could give me a number from 1 to 100, how would you say? How often would you say you're feeling good and happy?
No, I would say I'm out of
A
5,
five.
it's just yeah, like today I was upset because, nothing's working for my voiceover. I know you and Sharon told me that I shouldn't think you know, about expectations when it comes to the jobs and just don't scope out, like get the ones that narrow which are the best for you. And I know that because that's what you do for voice
Hmm.
acting, but I'm just so down because I haven't been getting because since I haven't been getting casted before this
Mm,
course, because I'm not auditioning except for, like, today, I'll audition this one job, it's just you do, an improv, right? Because they don't give you a script.
mhm,
So I'm thinking I'd have to do an improv type of
mhm.
recording. It's on Backstage.com. It's just that since that one, I found that job now that I thought about doing it, but before this course I thought, "No, just I don't know." I said, "I'm gonna quit." Like, I told my teacher,
Mhm.
like, when the helping me with the setting up with the with the my career, like my booth and my website and everything.
Mhm.
I told him I'm gonna quit, and I said to him I want to look for like talent
Mhm.
agencies that are Los Angeles because I want to get a Los Angeles
Mhm.
agent. Um, and like the top agencies in Toronto. Sorry, 1 second.
That's okay. Sakina,
Yeah.
give you let
So
me give you a little
so so
let me give you a little like help think.
sorry. I just want to say one
Yeah.
thing before you move on. Sorry to interrupt you. And like I told them that I just wanted to quit if I can't get to the favorite actor that I told you about that I want to
Mhm.
work with, if I can't get connected, and if I can't get connected to Los Angeles the talent agencies, if they don't get me employment. And I told them with an agent, and which is what I learned, is that when you get an agent, you still have to do 90% of the work. The 90% of the work is
Mhm.
auditioning. And the best way for me to get hired for jobs is to build relationships with my clients, with the like which is the
Mhm.
directors and producers. And that's only when you get cast for work
Mm.
for voiceover projects.
Does it
So that's why
uh,
I'm
the
behind. And sorry, by the way, the only audition I got was that I booked was in 2019, which was an unpaid job, and in 2021, which was a paid job that was for $100.
Okay. Well,
Okay, sorry. Now,
it's a
sorry, I
journey.
interrupted you.
Like the whole thing's a journey. I have actor friends that some ended up quitting, some ended up not quitting, but there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of auditioning and then you get rejected and auditioning and you get rejected. And the trick is from what I've learned from the people who do well with it is that they don't take the rejection personally and they allow themselves to continue even when they get rejections because they know that that's part of the game of being an actor. Like you just that's part of it. You have to just know that that's part of it and continue building your craft and continue working and getting better at what you do at acting, at voice acting, whatever the thing is, and then just continue the journey. But another piece of the puzzle is to raise your happiness number because you're at a
Yeah.
5%. Think about like when you go into a room in an audition with a 5% happiness, or think about when you're talking to someone important or who can help you when you have 5% happiness. The energy that you're carrying is not it's not optimistic, it's not positive, it's not joyous, it's not excited, it's not that good feeling energy that people want to like be around. You want to have the kind of energy where you walk in a room with someone or you enter a room with someone and they're like, "Oh, I just want to spend time with Sakina. Like I just want to listen to her talk. I want to talk with her. I want to go back and forth. I want to play with her. I want to goof around with her. I want to just spend my time with her." But when you're at a 5% and you're entering a room like if you walked into a room and said what you said on this stream to somebody, they might say like, "Oh, well, I don't know, like it's kind of, it's kind of like negative. It's kind of like focusing on the downsides or the bad things or the things that aren't working. And there's just something about that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you want to be able to shift how you're thinking about the world so that when you have different impressions on people, so that you say different things and do different things and carry different energy. So I would suggest like before you do anything, whether you decide to continue down this dream of voice acting, or whether you decide to quit and do something else or go down a different route or go to through music or DJing or guitar or whatever or a different job altogether, whatever path you end up going down, I would suggest making your main focus raising that 5% to something higher. Do you think that this week you can do certain things that would help you raise that number to 10, 15, 20%?
I don't know. I don't know because I'm just so down right now. And I contacted my teacher today. I texted him on iMessage.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't got a response back. He's busy. So, but well, maybe tomorrow or the day before Tuesday because we have meetings every Tuesday on like things I have to do and like things I
Yeah.
do like even my activities that I want to do. Like we have a list and
Well,
all the things I want to
Well,
do.
listen, Sakina, this channel, the thing that I'm doing here, that I'm teaching here, and I have a lot of videos that you can watch, like live streams that you've probably seen because you've been on them, but also videos that like regular YouTube videos that I've done where I talk about how to essentially master your emotions. I also have like a free email newsletter. I don't know if you've signed up for it, but if you haven't, that's
Yeah, I haven't.
it's worth
I
signing up
haven't.
for because it teaches you how to do that thing where it raised from 5%. Like, even if you can get it to 10%, like, think about how much of a difference that would make. And then that's a little progress. And then you can make a little more progress. But the goal of this channel is for me to help people teach them how to find more happiness by using their heart and their mind and connecting these two things together so that you can feel that in your own life. So I would like look for the resources that help you do that. And I would prioritize that over anything else because when you're feeling better, when you're happier, when you're enjoying life more, you're going to think better. You're going to come up with different ideas. You're going to impress people in different ways. You're going to see opportunities where you didn't see them before. You're going to believe in yourself in a whole new way. All those things happen when you start to feel better, and that's the tricky part, but you can do that early before any of the actual like physical evidence shows up because our emotions come from our thoughts, and you can change your thoughts right now. You can start the process of changing your thoughts right now. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, but I don't know how to do it though. And another thing, what would you tell those people that did quit acting either for voiceover or for on camera? I'm sure your friends are on camera actors. I don't think they are voice
No, they're
actors.
not voice actors, all but
They're
they're
on
on camera,
camera.
and one of them quit, and one of them, or a couple of them quit, and a couple of them stayed. And I would just tell everyone the same thing, which is follow your heart and do what makes you happy. What sometimes going down a certain path, it's no longer speaks to you in the way that it used to, and then it's okay to change paths, but ultimately follow your heart. And as for, you not knowing how to find more happiness or find more enjoyment, check out the watch the spend time watching the video. Like, there are easy things that you could do. Like, here are the easy things. I'll give you like five different, I don't know, I'm not going to give a number to it because I don't know how much I'm going to list, but I'm going to give you some things that you can do, and then I'm going to wrap up because I'm over an hour here. So something you can do is number one, don't like stop watching any content that is negative. Like, try to not don't look at
Mm.
the news if it makes you feel stressed.
I don't look at the news and it is very
Okay, I'm just
stressful.
saying, I'm just giving you, and you might already be doing this stuff, which is great, but like, don't like, if you're scrolling social media, if that makes you feel insecure, don't do that.
I'm not on that, and when I do get on that, that's just only for
Okay,
voiceover stuff
okay,
for
don't watch
jobs.
scary movies or movies that make you feel unsettled or like, or cunt, or
Um,
like,
I like watching I like watching scary movies, but what's the other content?
well, like true crime or like things that are like unsettling or make you feel
Mm,
uncomfortable or make you feel scared or whatever. Like, just do yourself a favor. If you're looking for more happiness and enjoyment, that's an easy way to like take an hour and a half or 2 hours of your time, and instead of being focused in a way that makes you scared, you can do things and spend time in doing things that make you happy. Other things you can do is meditate. That is also helpful. Getting in nature,
it doesn't help me.
uh, getting getting
Nature,
in nature.
I can't I don't really have any naturey type of
Okay.
like, we I have there's a, like, a countryside in my house, but there's no, like, nature, like, there's a forest, but I don't go there, I just go outside to Tim Hortons, it's like
Yeah.
Starbucks, but it's in Canada,
Yeah.
and there's a coffee shop that's near my house,
Okay.
a bakery,
Okay. Well,
so I
just
just do that.
notice what I'm doing. So this is what I've also noticed with people, and there's nothing wrong with this, but I'm just going to point it out to you. I can basically, you're in a space right now where I can basically throw almost anything at you, and you'll be like, no, 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 that doesn't work for that reason. That doesn't work for that reason. That I've tried that, blah, blah, blah. So you can just deny all of them, which is okay. But just know that that's not helping you. So just what I would do is tune into your heart and ask yourself what you would like to do each day, and just allow yourself to do that. And maybe that's what it might change day to day. It might change by the moment. Maybe it's going outside one day. Maybe it's watching something different, like on TV, or like watching a certain video, or listening to upbeat music, or whatever, or cooking something, or playing a game, or continuing your music, or whatever. And just keep letting yourself dive into the things that actually feel good to you and listening to your own heart. That's the best way to do it. Besides, and sign up for the my free newsletter, because it gives you a daily email that you can read, that you can start implementing some of those things, or watch my old YouTube videos that I have posted on how to listen to your emotions and use them to guide you. and follow your heart and live like a feel good lifestyle. Those things will all those are all good resources you can use and tap into to begin that journey.
Thank you, but, you know, though, that YouTube that video that you have, the emotional one on, like, you say about the different
Hmm.
emotions, and if you have this and you got this, even though you have those emotions, I don't know what it means, like, if you have fear or stress, like, I'm stressed
Hmm.
for voiceover thing because my career, because I still want to achieve my
Hmm.
dreams, but I feel frustrated and I feel like it's not going anywhere, like, I haven't been booking and I don't have mo and I'm auditioning for paid work on Backstage, they're all paid auditions. I'm not
I
getting
get it,
anything.
and look, there are different people that are going to tell you different things, right? You could tell this, you could say this to 10 different people, and they're going to give you 10 different answers. My answer to how I would say to approach this is forget all of the booking, forget the auditions, forget all of that, and focus on getting yourself happier, all the little, medium, and big ways that you can find more enjoyment in your life. Let that be your primary focus. And then watch how your brain just operates differently when you're in good, positive headspaces, because it's logically going to operate differently. When you change how you're feeling on the inside because of how you're thinking, you're going to think differently, speak differently, carry different energy, have more bandwidth to deal with stuff, find more opportunities, think more creatively, be more in touch with your intuition so that it can guide you. All those things unlock with good headspaces. But right now at 5%, like you don't have a ton of good headspaces that you're floating in. And so the ideas that you get, or the words that you say, or the energy that you carry, it's like not helping you get where you want to be. So I would say let yourself off the hook for all of that stuff and go easy and relax and know that that's helpful, and then just do things that you know are going to helpful, either things that feel good to you. When you ask yourself every day, like, what does my heart want to do right now? What would be relaxing to me? What would be fun for me? What would be exciting for me? And then let yourself do that as often as you can. And then just read, like, sign up for my emails if it feels good to you, and read those emails. That's a cool resource. Or find other teachers that speak to you in a way that really resonates with you. There's so many people on YouTube that have positive messages, or in Clubhouse that have positive messages. Find them, find the ones that speak to you, and then learn from them.
I'd rather go to you because you speak to me because I resonate with
Okay,
you,
great.
so
Well, then, then
I'd rather go
then
to
just
that.
watch old YouTube videos that I've done, or old live streams that I've done, or sign up for my emails. They're very detailed and you can read them. And those can help you get some insight that you can then learn to start applying in your life. It doesn't, this is not what I'm teaching is not complicated, but it is something that you have to practice every day. So just learn the basics of what I'm teaching and then just put the practice in. And part of the practice is just find, like, for example, if I said, like, by the time our next live stream happens next week, can you do something each day that feels good to you? Can you do one thing each day that feels good to you?
Yeah, I can go on the justinguitar.com
Okay,
website,
great. If that
go
feels
on
good for
that.
you that day, just do that. And then that's literally the practice. That's part of the practice, just doing that. So, so,
I
so
see.
just do that and then see if you can raise that 5% to 10% in the next week or something. Do you think you could try that?
Okay. Yeah, but I have other things like my course, like I want to finish it off the work for the exploring careers because I have this other course, the math course, that's starting next week and they give a lot of homework, so I want to finish that off, but I still
Okay.
want to go on the
So you're
Justin
saying you'll
Guitar.
put off your happiness until after that. But then after that, will you try to put your priority on your happiness?
Well, yeah, yeah, I'll try
Okay.
that, but how do I put my priority, my happiness with while I'm doing that work, the assignments for that exploring
I mean,
careers,
you
you
could do it
know?
in two different ways, or maybe there's more than two ways you could do it. One way is to take a pause on that stuff because you don't really feel like doing it, and that's perfectly, and then do something that makes you happy
Um,
instead. That would be one way. Or the other way would be find the things about the thing that you actually enjoy that would make you happy, and just remind yourself, I'm doing this because it helps me in this way, or I'm doing this because yeah, I have fun doing learning the math of my finances, or I have fun learning how to do this or that. And then you're able to enjoy the thing, so that you could either do the thing in a way that you enjoy the thing, or don't do the thing and do something you enjoy instead. Those are how you prioritize your
do
happiness.
something
Yeah.
else. Okay, I see. I
Cool.
see. Yeah, these are common sense ways, but nobody's thinking
I
about these,
know, I
or some
know, and
people
then
are,
once
but
we start, that's what helps us raise our happy number, and that will help you in so many ways, but start small. It's okay to start where you are. Everyone's at a different place when they get started, so, um
I have one quick question before
okay, but
you
then I
you
have to go.
continue.
Okay.
Okay. So what did you tell your, friends when they told you that they decided to quit acting? I just wanna know so that I can get some perspective on what I feel I
I
should do.
think when they told, because one of my friends moved to from LA to Florida because they quit acting and they just moved and started to do something else. But I was happy for them that they decided to follow their heart to something else. And that's like ultimately at the end of the day, like if you're going down a path and you just find it really hard and not satisfying because you don't like the grind, or you don't like the kind of work, or you don't like all the rejection, or whatever the reason, if you decide to go in a different way because of that, that's your choice, and that's a good, follow your heart. At the end of the day, follow your heart and do what makes you happy, even if that means quitting certain things. Like quitting is
Mhm.
a good thing if it ultimately makes you happy. So you get to decide that, and only you'll know. Like only everyone's different, so everyone will have a different answer for this. For some people, quitting is the perfectly right move. It helps them because it was stressing them out too much to keep doing it. For other people, it's staying with it is the right move because they just enjoy the thing so much that they want to keep doing it. And then, but whatever it is that you enjoy, follow that. Ultimately follow your heart. That's the main guiding light that I like to live by.
Right, right, okay, so they were successful, correct? Were they successful in acting?
Well, the one
Whatever
that
their
moved,
goals were? Yes, whatever their goals were, their dreams, were they
I
successful
I
or
don't
no?
think so. I feel like they wanted more out of it and they didn't get there, and because they didn't get there in the time that they gave themselves, they decided to go in a different direction. So I don't know, but I also haven't talked to that person about this in a very long time. So I don't know where he is now on it.
Oh,
However,
so can you get connected to him for me if you don't mind?
and ask
Can
him
you please get him connected just to ask him, and then we can meet
to
up next
to
week
ask him what? To ask him what?
to ask him like why did he quit acting? What was his goals in terms of acting?
He
Like what was
wanted to
his
be an
dream?
actor on a TV show,
And
and he quit because he wasn't getting chosen in the auditions to be on TV shows. And so he decided to
oh,
move to Florida and just forget acting altogether, which again is a choice. Like it ultimately what it is it better for that person to grind after audition after audition after audition and get rejected over and over and over again? For him that wasn't the best path. The And he would just rather, for him it made sense to just leave the industry and go do something else where he had more stable income, and found something there he didn't have to like perform and try to get approved of over and over again. And that's okay too. Like that's everyone gets to decide. Another friend of mine had this a similar thing, but he went into background acting instead. Like instead of like doing, you know what background
extras.
extra,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
extras.
yeah. So like that is a so there's different ways to go, and everyone's going to be different, but ultimately at the end of the day, follow your heart. And I would, like, listen, if someone had the goal of being in if their dream was to be an actor, voice actor or otherwise, I would say, and they came to me for advice, or they came to me for coaching, I would focus the priority on raising their happiness, because that's what I do. That's what I teach, using your mastering your emotions so that you can understand what they're telling you and how to guide your life. And then let the good headspaces that you are floating in, because you're in such a good place, allow that to bring the cool opportunities your way. I'll give you one non-acting story, but then I have to run because I'm running late, and I have to make my sunset bike ride because that's what makes me happy, and the sun is going down. So
Oh,
I have a friend who does not like his job. He's not interested in what he's doing. He thinks that it's, whatever. He just doesn't enjoy it. And so he's been for years at this job that he does not enjoy. And so we started working together. He took my program. We started raising that happy number, right? We started raising it. And then the last few weeks he's been in the 80s, 80% happy, 85% happy. Like truly That's the goal. If you can get 80 or above, real magic can open up in your life. And meantime, he's been very like he's been playing. So one of the things that he's been doing when I tell him like, find things that you're passionate about, find things that you enjoy, just like how you do the guitar or the DJing, like find things like that and play in those waters. And so his was poker, so he started playing in poker. he started
Oh, yeah,
he
yeah.
started playing it. He started reading books about it. He started watching videos about it. And he was watching this YouTuber, specifically this one guy who he really, really liked. And he would share videos with me of this guy. And then just last week, because he's been in such good headspaces, he came across a posting from his favorite YouTuber on poker that said, we're looking for a job to hire someone for this creative director spot for, which happens to be his exact title at the company that he works with now. And he's currently in the
Wow.
interview process, and he's made it to round 3 of the interview process. So it looks like there's a good chance he's going to get this job, which would be awesome. But the reason for him doing that was not him trying to like go online and look for jobs. It was he raised his happiness number, and with a higher happiness number and floating in good headspaces where he's thinking up here, he's able to spot the opportunities
Yes.
that the universe has to offer. And when the opportunity presents itself and he reaches out to say, hey, I'd like to apply for this, I'd like to like throw my hat in the ring for this position, the energy that is carrying into his words, into what he types to this person, into how he talks to them during the interview process, because he's in good headspaces floating up here, because his energy is so good, it impresses people. It makes people want him for that job. Yes, let's go to round 2. Yes, let's go to round 3. We like you. We want to keep working with you. We want to see what this is at. We want to play this out and see if you'd be a good fit. But all of this is coming because he's floating in such good headspaces, and that he was not trying to get new work. He was just trying to be happier, and he focused all his attention on improving his happiness and letting himself relax more in his life, letting himself find more ease in his life, letting himself enjoy more of his life. And then when you do that, there's so many beautiful opportunities in magic that can really just pop out of nowhere in exactly the places you want them to go, like me with Conan or him with this poker guy. Exactly the person, exactly the show, exactly the thing. Those can absolutely happen, but it doesn't happen unless you're in like the 70s and 80s in terms of like how happy you'd consider yourself, because that's when you're operating at your very best. So,
Yeah, so maybe I should just do, like, hobbies like the DJing,
yes,
like, that's, like,
yes,
my hobby,
yes.
like, the journey, so then afterwards, I'm okay, then I can go back to it, just take a break. There's too much stress on my I wanna get to this dream and that dream and still getting to 7,
Great. Exactly,
and
exactly. Do
and
that. Just do your hobbies. Alina's jumping in right when I'm leaving, but let me say hi to her real quick. Hey, Alina, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I think it's because
Okay,
I live in the woods, but that's okay. I just wanted to say hi and bye because I know
okay.
that you might still be in here.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm wrapping up now, but thank you for being part of the stream. Thank you both for being here. Thank you, Yoni, for joining as well. And Alina, go back and watch right when you like when you lost connection, like
Okay.
go back and watch the stream, because Sakina
Oh,
shared some like resources that might apply to you, that might be helpful to you in terms of like essentially you sign up for this thing and it walks you through all these questions and it helps you kind of figure out what you might want to do or what jobs might fit your personality and what you're looking for the best.
wait, this is so cool, you guys. I'm so glad that like it worked right now and I was able to like come back in.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Just in time. All right,
Yeah.
I have to go because the
yeah.
Yeah.
sunset is happening, and if I miss this ride, I'm not
Yes.
happy. Okay.
Okay, go
Oh,
do your
shoot.
rock.
Okay, what I gotta tell you, I'll
You'll
tell you
tell me
next
next
time,
time.
I'll tell you
Okay, thanks,
next
Sounds
time,
good,
Sakina.
you guys. See you later.
next week.
Bye,
Bye.
bye, bye.
Oh, bye.
Okay, guys, thank you guys so much for joining. If you're watching on replay, please do me the favor of liking if you got anything valuable out of this stream. Leave me a comment if you want me to talk about anything specific in future streams. I would love to know what you're specifically wanting to focus on in terms of mindset, emotions, belief, changing our thoughts, reaching our manifesting our dreams and creating the life we want. Any of those topics, let me know specifically what you have in mind, and I will do my best to create more content with that. Otherwise, feel free to check me out on my website, chrisnewth.com. You can sign up for my free EQ newsletter. It'll teach you how to master your emotions in very easy, logical, common sense, intuitive ways so that it's easy for you to find the results that you're looking for and find all the success that you deserve to have. And if you'd like to work with me specifically, I offer coaching. You can also find that on my website, chrisnewth.com. Just go to the coaching section and you can sign up for my EQ mastery program, which I have right now. It's working really well for the people who are in it. I'm going to update you guys on some of the success stories coming up in the future weeks. And I have a mentorship program for people who want to work with me on a longer term basis. So feel free to check those out too. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching. And as always, I appreciate you. I love you. And I will talk to you next week. Bye, guys.